Welcome back to episode 2 of Things That Matter podcast. This episode, we're going to be continuing on in our series of our Voxer messages. These messages are also dated June 13th. So episode 1 that you guys listened to was from June 13th, but it was really a recap of the 12th. So this one is actually going to be an update of what the day of June 13th was like. You are going to be hearing my first Voxer to the group. And I will add that I was on a lot of painkillers, so my words slur a little bit in it, but I think you guys will understand. So you will hear my first message to the group, and you'll hear some of the people in the group respond. Now, not everyone responded by voice message, so I am going to read some of the texts that people put in the group because it's really neat to hear all the different people come together in agreement. It's like this building block of faith. So that's why I want to read some of the stuff to you guys as well. Without delay, let's get into the Voxers.
Hey guys, it's Amanda. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm doing really good and I am getting your messages. I'm obviously not be able to respond to all of them, but I appreciate them and they are so helpful and they're 100% felt over here. And this would be a tough road to get through without all the support. And I love you guys so much. And it's just touching. And the hardest part for me right now, the pain on my side, I can bear through that, but it's tough not being able to see Jay. And that guy's a hero. He saved, with God's help, saved my life. And I just really appreciate your prayers for him and continue to lift him up. He's doing good. He was responsive today and moving around. He's a farm boy, someone who doesn't like to sit still, so it's tough for him. But just keep lifting him up and speedy recovery and just supernatural growth of skin. And if you guys could also pray for his eyes, they were a little burnt and smoky, and he hasn't been able to open them because they've been so swollen, but just when he is able to open his eyes, that his vision is perfect. I was able to shower today. That was really nice. Someone was able to give me a bath, wash my hair. Surprisingly, I didn't lose all of my hair, so quite a bit. They've been scraping my skin every day just to keep the dead skin off. That's kind of painful. It oozes quite a bit. It's not very pretty, but it's helping. I have new blisters coming up over my body, and when new blisters form, that just means that the burn was a little bit deeper than they expected. So I'm on the right track, though. In physical therapy today, I was able to make a fist with my right hand, which is huge because they're so big that I wasn't even able to bend them. So I'm making big steps forward and I'm getting better so that I can go help my husband get better. And I just can't thank you guys enough. This is so helpful. And I know I'm mumbling, but I just really appreciate it. And I don't know, I can feel it. Like I 100% can feel it. And so can his family. Like this is a huge testimony to Jay's family, and the Lord's really speaking to them. Things are happening through something that the enemy meant to hurt us with. So just thank you guys so much, and I will try and sneak in another phone conversation when I can, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm very grateful, and thank you so much, and I love you all very, very much.
Oh, sweet Amanda, we love you, and my goodness, it's wonderful to hear your voice, and we are thrilled that your life was saved and Jay's life was saved, and we're just believing that God's hand is miraculous on both of you. And thank you for talking to us. It just puts joy in our heart. And we love you, and we're standing with you, and we're not going to stop. And we're going to see this thing through, and the Lord's going to help us and help you guys at the same time. And so big hugs to you and big kisses, because we're just thanking the Lord over and over. And we're with you on his promises, and we stand with you. So thank you so much for putting your voice on Voxer. Voxer's awesome. And so we love that.
I'm with Carolyn, Amanda. I am so happy to hear your voice. Um, and I'm so glad to hear that you are on the mend. And so is Jason. And we will definitely be praying specifically for his eyes and for continued healing for all of you. We just love you so much, and we agree with you. What the enemy meant for evil, the Lord means for good, and he will turn it all to good. And we are standing with you. Love you guys.
Hey, Christy and everybody. It's super great to hear straight from you, Christy. I love it. On Sunday morning, when they were telling the church, and Gary Lee was he was stirring the people to have faith and not fear, and he was having people talk about miracles. And then he had the church do the thing where they speak out all around the gymnasium their verses that they've stood on for their life for the times that matter, like these kinds of situations. And Wayne Wilson is clear on the other side of the church from where I sit. And he stood up and he read out Jeremiah, I think it's 32:27. It says, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh, and what is impossible for me. But when he said it, something in my heart just grabbed a hold of it. And that's been my the spearhead of my prayers, praying in tongues a ton, kind of like Jody, where I feel like I can't escape it. Like there's a constant bathing on the oil, like what Cassie said, a constant application of prayer and oil to their bodies and their flesh and their situation. And so we're holding them up, believing for God to do his thing where he collects all of his glory. But in the meantime, we're going to see him be the God of all flesh on Jason's behalf and on Amanda's behalf. So here's the scripture in a picture so you can see it.
All right, so now I want to read to you guys some of the texts that came in on Voxer from that day. Quote, Christy, your testimony of what's been happening so far is just mind-blowing of God's goodness. I can't talk, I'm so choked up. I've been praying hourly the last couple days and spending lots of time praying in tongues over Jason, more than I think I ever have before. It's like I can't stop. God's love for Jason and Amanda is so, so, so huge. More miracles are going to be seen. And Amanda, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. It's so encouraging to hear your voice. It's so encouraging to hear how you can feel everyone's prayer and support. We will be praying for Jason's eyes and vision. We are praying constantly. Here's a message from another. I think my heart just grew 3 times over hearing your voice and seeing your sweet smile. Praise the name of the Lord. Eyes now. Time for Jason to see. And the next message. Amanda, my heart and soul leapt to hear your voice and to hear how God is wrapping you both in peace. I love hearing your mom talk about your miracle story and now to hear your voice. So many are praying for you and having their hearts touched by the Lord to keep praying for you. Jason and all, he is the God of all flesh, and there is nothing too difficult for him. I love you guys. And the final message. Amanda, it's so good to hear your voice and to see your beautiful smile. Hearing all the details of your mom and seeing so strongly all the ways that God intervened on your behalf makes me stand in awe of his goodness. He never forsakes us, and his plans and thoughts are always good towards us. We will continue to pray for you for miraculous healing, and we are believing for total restoration for J2, not just his eyes, but in every way. God is the God who restores and who heals, and I firmly believe that your testimony through all of this is going to bring so many people to Jesus. Today I was listening to worship music and praying for you guys, and the song came on. It rose up in my spirit almost like a war cry for Jay. Here are some of the verses that caught me. My strength is in your name, for you alone can save. You will deliver me. Yours is the victory. Whom shall I fear? I know who goes before me. I know who stands behind me. The God of angel armies is always by my side, the one who reigns forever. He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. Nothing to fear. God is on Jason's side. All right, so that wraps it up for the Voxers. I wanted to talk about two things in closing here. And the first is that you notice this theme of people saying that they are praying more than they ever have before. There's this pressing in the spirit to pray without ceasing. And you're hearing from seasoned Christians, and this is stirring them in a way that they've never been stirred before. And that's not because Jason and I are special people, but there was something that the Holy Spirit was activating in people, and he was using this situation that Jason and I were in to do that. And that shows you what happens when the Spirit of the living God rests upon a person. It calls them back. It's a great testimony to what the enemy meant for evil, the Lord will turn for good. That wasn't just for Jason and I's life. The Lord used it to stir and move other people. It really makes you approach trials and tribulations in a very different way when you see that, yes, the enemy causes these things to happen, but the Lord uses it to promote and to grow and to establish his kingdom and to establish his will. So the start of a situation might look very scary and you might see no way out of it. But when you give it to the Lord, when you surrender it to him, when you refuse to partner with doubt and fear, and you choose to stand on the word of God instead, that's when you start to see the fruit of your faith. So I would encourage people, seek out prayer when you are going through something. Get a group of people alongside you who will pray for you and pray without ceasing, and not just pray and partially believe or pray and be double-minded about it, but people who will pray and have great expectation with you, people who will pray with you and not water down your faith. I also want to talk about Jason's eyes. So you heard me mention that we needed prayer in that area. Something to keep in mind is that at this particular time, Jason is unstable in critical condition, yet here we are praying for his eyes. At this point, we had already made up in our mind that Jason was going to live. Medically, he was standing at death's door, yet we chose to believe that Jason's going to have life and life more abundantly. And the Lord had given us supernatural faith to be able to stand in that and to now look forward, look down the road. And what really moved me to stand there was I had this moment where I was thinking, so you're telling me that if my husband lives, he's going to wake up, he's going to be bound to a bed, he might be limbless due to infection, he will have none of his original skin, and now you're telling me that he will wake up and not be able to see? It was again in that moment where I looked to the Lord and I said, this one belongs to you. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to believe you that there will be nothing missing and nothing broken. The whole point of this standing in bold faith isn't just to get back to life as normal, but these are the moments where it glorifies the Lord. Doctors can't restore your vision if your eyes have been seared from heat. They are skilled and can do surgery and can restore to the best of their ability, but the only person capable of bringing you into full, complete restoration is Jesus. And so that's who I look to in this moment. The doctors are going to do what they're going to do, but Lord, this is something where you have to move. Only you can do this. I'm so grateful that everyone else around me stood in the same faith. Because the moment someone comes with a seed of doubt, it's really hard to push forward and to block that out. So to be able to look completely ahead was such a blessing. All right, so I'm going to leave it there for this episode. And next time we will get into more about what the day-to-day schedule was like in the burn unit for myself. And then we're also going to get into some medical terms, actually talk about the burns themselves. And if you're saying to yourself, there's an awful lot of talk about prayer here, you're right, there is. The whole point of this is to help show what it looks like to actually walk out faith. There are a few people who can actually stand there and tell you and show you how to walk out your faith. So that is why I'm so passionate talking about this testimony and talking about what it looked like to actually walk through this, is because I know there's something for others to take out of this. I know that there are people out there who are walking through hard things, people who are walking through a fire right now. You don't see to the other side, and you might be struggling in your faith. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to encourage. And as someone who can speak from inside the fire. Someone who has experience there and who had to really press in and who had to actually not just talk about faith, but had to show my faith by what I do, by the words that come out of my mouth, by the position of my heart. So that's why I'm sharing. You're going to hear me talk a lot about prayer, and I might repeat myself sometimes, but that's what this looked like. It was repetitive. It was constant prayer, constantly being in a state of worship, constantly being in a state of surrender. I couldn't physically get on my knees while I was in the hospital, but you better believe the position of my heart was on my knees at the feet of Jesus, because I was in a position where he was literally the only person that could turn this around. The doctors aren't going to piece my life back together after this. And everyone who's praying at the end of the day, they're going to go back to their own life after the heat of this cools down. And I'm going to be left by myself with my husband, with no home, with no belongings. At the end of the day, it's going to be me, my husband, and Jesus. So it's at his feet that I had to sit at. So I'm here to edify and encourage the person who needs a touch from heaven right now. And if any of this resonates with you, please send me an email. Jason and I would gladly bind our faith together and pray with you. We are two people who understand that our prayer has supernatural power to cut through the plans of the enemy when you pray with bold confidence. So please, if you're someone who needs prayer, let us come alongside you and intercede for you in bold faith. And speaking of Jason, if you're wondering where he is, you will be hearing from him, and not just about things regarding the fire. We both have something burning in our spirit to share with you guys. I promise you he will be on. We're just getting through the first series here of kind of building a foundation of how Jason and I got to the point to where we are in our faith and in our testimony, and the things that we've walked through, not just the fire itself, but the things that have transpired in our life prior to that and even after. We have been in a great season of refining and pruning, a season of preparation. We've walked through the fire so that way we can pull others out. So I hope to have you back for episode 3 of Things That Matter.